All right, the largest brewer in Nigeria obtains approval from the NGX to kick off its 600 billion naira rights issue, of obviously another attempt to convert its debt to equities. Nigerian Breweries is offering to existing shareholders 11 new ordinary shares for every existing 5 ordinary shares held as at the close of business on Friday, July 12, 2024. So are you claiming those rights? And also, can we begin to explore the possibility of Oando perhaps joining the League of the Swartz? Yes, stocks worth over ₦1 trillion. And how soon can we see that happen? That's a conversation we'll be pursuing on the show today. Coming to the fixed income axis, there's strengthening interest in FGM bonds. What does this reflect on inflation expectations? And how is this telling on average yields? Plus, the decision every investor has to make at some points: buy, sell, or hold a value, dividend-paying stock or a growth stock, most times undervalued with a lot of room for share price appreciation. Which would you rather? That conversation and much more on the show today. You're tuned in to Market Pulse on News Central in partnership with Nairametrics. We're bringing you that comprehensive breakdown of market activities of the day, and I'm your host, Joanna Mustapha, for today. Let's begin with the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and yes, the market closed in the green today, and that means predominantly this week we're seeing the market in the green appreciate 0.27%. The all-share index is now at 96,407.88, and yes, market capitalization, total market capitalization at 55.37 trillion naira. Of course, stockbrokers are attributing, the increase to investors buying interest in some mid to high capitalized stocks, such as the likes of Julius Berger and Oando. So, let's see for ourselves. Coming to the top gainers for the day, some of the best performing stocks year to date are making the list of top gainers. Oando, for example, which started off the week at 47 naira, has appreciated to almost 70 naira. Today, we're seeing it gain 9.98%, now at 69.95, 69 naira 95 kobo, just 5 kobo away from the 70 naira mark. So if you put that together, that's about a 68.4% appreciation this week already. You wouldn't be surprised if they emerge, that is, Oando emerges as the best performing stock this month. Of course, tomorrow is marking the close of trade for the month of August. RT Briscoe is another top performer. Yes, it was on the list, obviously. It gained significantly today as well as a top gainer. But we're seeing Julius Berger, as I pointed out earlier, gaining 9.97%, up to 172 naira 60 kobo. Cornest as well, 2 naira 78 kobo, up 9.88%. Eterna, another oil stock, is up 98.6%, and Dara Communications, with that management shift, is up 9.84%. If we come to the list of top losers for the day, we have, of course, SCOA, that is up, or down, I beg your pardon, 9.79%. It's now at 1 naira 75 kobo. J Paul as well, down 7.41%. Prestige, Tantalizers, and Veritas Capital completing the losers list for the day. Joining me for market breakdown after this break is Head of Securities Trading, Planet Capital Limited, Ambrose Udeaba, so stay tuned for that. All right, you're still tuned in to Market Pulse, and right now, to provide us more insight on market activities, we welcome on the show once again Ambrose Udeaba, Head of Securities Trading, Planet Capital Limited. It's a pleasure to have you in again, Mr. Ambrose.
Thank you.
All right, let's begin, with activities of late on the NGX. Obviously, International Breweries rights issue, happened earlier. Nigerian Breweries has, obviously, it's the biggest brewer in the country. They plan to raise 600 billion naira through a rights issue to clear its 500 billion naira worth of foreign exchange debt. What's your assessment of this move? And can we say that, the end to its battles with the foreign exchange losses is in sight?
Okay, thank you. Like you rightly said, if you look at what has been happening in the manufacturing industry, the brewery, you will also understand that the economy is also affecting them. And looking at the information or the news, when they got this the shareholders approval, I think 78 AGM,
Okay, it appears the audio there is shaky a little bit. We're going to go on a break right now. Hopefully we're going to have more stable audio and get more perspective from... All right, Mr. Ambrose, are you there now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, we lost you, the audio there for a second. So can you just briefly recap, obviously, what's happening with Nigerian breweries?
So for Nigerian breweries, the tensions were clearly stated. Okay, the purpose for the right issue, which is also for them to pay off the foreign debts they have. Okay, the foreign debt in the tune of $500 billion, and also raising a right issue in the tune of 600 billion. So if Nigerian breweries are able to pay these loans, it will also help to reposition the company vis-a-vis the performance so far. If you look into their performance, you will see that their finance cost is way high, and then the FX also affected them. So when they're able to succeed in this rights issue, pay off the loan, they also have a lot of liquidity, a lot of money, okay, to play around, and hope will return back for the investors. So the investors will now begin to see a new turn in the company, and then begin to expect one or two income or dividend to be paid by the company. So it's a good thing. It's a good move.
All right, we'll see how this development goes, and when the rights are officially listed on the exchange. But I mean, we can barely have a conversation about what's happening on the NGX without bringing up Oando, right? They have seen significant, consistent, and rapid share price appreciation, over 1,000% in just 12 months. Market capitalization is up to 719 billion now. So. Would it be too early? Can we begin to explore the possibilities of Oando perhaps becoming, one of the few stocks worth over $1 trillion? I mean, does the data point to that, and how far away, how close is that?
So I think the available data and information is pointing towards that. Looking at the value at the moment at around 800, at around 800. 700 billion, okay, and then looking at what it closed today at around 800 billion market capitalization, and the price of 69.95 kobo. So if you roughly look at the volume of shares outstanding, okay, and then I think around 85 naira, 19 naira per share, they will cross the 1 trillion naira market cap. So they're very, very close to that market capitalization of 1 trillion naira.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it'd be interesting to see whether or not that happens. But when, some investors, when they see that excitement, and that huge rally, they're usually cautious, right? So, I mean, and we've seen significant growth this week alone. I mean, it started at 47 naira, now it's, almost 70 naira. But can this be sustained, right? If they do attain that status, is it something that can be sustained and maintained? Or are there headwinds and pullbacks that you see ahead on this stock?
Okay, so if you also look at the number, you see after some days of rally, investors will also want to, take profit. So you see the price moderate a little. But if you look at the recent news that actually caused, the appreciation of the rally we are seeing in Oando now, you also know that it's a forward-looking news, it's a positive news, and then vis-a-vis the Oando's, relationship and what this acquisition is actually going to do for them, to expand their upstream operations, okay, and then strengthen their position, the contribution is going to bring, and then what the Nigerian economy generally, is experiencing in the oil and gas sector, and then the need to show up, our daily barrel production. So for me, if you also look at it in the strong political influence also, which Oando enjoys, I think the possibility to sustain it is there.
The political influence. Thank you so much for that. An interesting angle to have on that conversation, but we'll focus on the data. But it's been a pleasure getting your insights. You're staying with us for the next segment, Buy, Sell, Hold. It's still Market Pulse right here on News Central. Mr. Ambrose Udeaba, the head of securities trading, Planets Capital Limited, stays with us for the next conversation. Don't go anywhere. Buy, sell, hold. We know that investors sometimes get caught between making the decision to key into, the prospect of significant share price appreciation, from a growth stock, or, going for a value stock with a more steady or moderate share price growth that provides consistent earnings from dividend payments. So which would you rather? Buy, sell, hold is what we're about right now. Let us know on X at Nairametrics, right? But of course, to provide more insight into this conversation, we have with us Mr. Ambrose Udeaba. It's great to have you stay with us, Mr. Ambrose.
Thank you, Joanna.
Yes. All right. So, just to get your insight as well, for those who may be listening, perhaps early investors who want a better perspective, right? What are value stocks and what are some of the pros and cons of holding these kind of stocks on the NGX?
Okay, so for me, I would say the value stocks, are stocks that have, fundamental, there are strong fundamentals. When we talk about fundamentals, we also talk about the strong management team, the key players in the industry where they play, the household name, they have the larger market, share capital in terms of, where they play. So their product and services is actually, benefiting the people. So those are the, value stocks that you can also see, how the activities they are liquid, they have that interest to buy, to hold. So you will see activities on such stocks. And then fundamentally, they are also sound. They give you dividend, they declare profit, and then the revenue grows year on year.
All right. So, let's come to the other side now. And speaking to growth stocks, there are quite a number of them, on the exchange right now. What are your thoughts on them, the pros and cons?
So for me, the growth stocks are good, for investors with long-term, investment goal. I think value stocks, growth stocks are okay for them. They also, over time, tend to, give a lot of return or higher return as compared to others. However, there are some risks that things may not really turn out the way they are because they are not that so strong, like the value stocks. So it's also good when one is positioning in them, he or she should also consider the possible potentials. And I will also advise what I do personally is also to have a hybrid or a portfolio built around these classes of stock, the value and the growth stocks.
So I'm going to put you on the spot for a moment. You've highlighted the pros and cons of both. Which would you rather buy, sell, or hold? The growth stocks or the value stocks?
So for me, I will buy the growth stock and hold for long. And then the value stock also, I will enter at a strategic time, say for instance, when there is a news or before there is a news, because over time they have proven performance. So I will better position myself to take advantage of the earnings season for the value stocks, while for growth stocks, I will also position myself in a long time.
From what you have said, obviously, there are certain stocks that, you have to be a little more strategic about if you plan to, buy into them or hold them, right? So would you say there's a particular demography for certain stocks? There are certain stocks that you should get into if you think you don't have the chest, or you may have certain medical conditions that, wouldn't allow you to follow up on these stocks. Are there particular types of stocks suited for a particular demography of people? For peace of mind, perhaps?
Yeah, yes. So, of course, the market performance or stock performance is also a function of the economy. How the economy is doing. If you look at from last year till date. You also notice that the manufacturing industry, for instance, is also affected by these FX issues around them. You also notice also even telecommunications, okay? And then recently for the banking stocks also, the issue of the new capitalization, the offers that are coming to the public, you also see these things are affecting them. So it's also good that while you're also investing or trying to take position in stocks, try to also understand the economy, where these companies are, or the market where they play, and then how policies affect them. That will also help the decision making. So for banking stock, we know what they are facing. For the manufacturers, we also know what they are facing. But that does not take away the potentials in them, okay? But it's also good we understand that at this particular time, this is what is happening, and then we will strategize and then take position in them.
Right, a lot of strategy once again. And, would like to wrap up with that, sense of strategy. What is the method of balancing these out? Obviously, you don't want to, hold on too much to one or the other, right? You want to balance them out. So, what is the method of balancing these out on one's portfolio to maximize profit?
So the method is, first, you must have a balanced portfolio. You must take position in both value and growth stock, and then you will try to balance your portfolio to have as many sectors as possible, and then consistently revaluing and then rebalancing your portfolio is very, very key. So you don't take your eyes off the market, you focus your eyes on the market, and then your portfolio, revalue your portfolio as often as possible, and then adjust your position to ensure that whatever direction of the market, the portfolio, if it's well balanced, will also return or give investors a positive return.
All right, thank you very much for that, Mr. Ambrose Udeaba, the head of securities trading, Planet Capital Limited. A lot of insights there when it comes to dealing with value stocks and growth stocks on the NGX. It's a pleasure having you in.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving now to the African markets. The market is predominantly in the green, save for Nairobi, right? We're seeing Morocco up 0.33%, Egypt up 0.21%, and of course Nairobi is also down. We'll continue to track all these exchanges and much more right here on Market Pulse, monitoring the pulse of the market, 4 p.m. West African time every weekday. Market Pulse here on News Central in partnership with Nairametrics. Join me tomorrow for the final trading day of the week and the month. And now we're heading to the global markets.